Hello, everyone. We're just going to wait for everyone to get settled in again. Thank you for coming to the second part, and we'll start in a little bit. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and get started. So, hello again, I'm Bethany Martinez, and with me today is...
Hi, I'm Carly.
Yes, and we're both from TLT, and you've heard about us from our first presentation. And if you weren't here for the first presentation, Carly, do you mind giving them a rundown about TLT?
Yes, TLT is Tomorrow's Leaders Today is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to helping develop youth leaders through education, collaboration, and mentorship with community and business leaders for the collective benefit of the students and their communities.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carly. And so, yeah, we're here today to talk about more of the process after going through the application stage, going through orientation, and choosing your housing. And so we're going to go more in depth, especially with housing and how to adjust to on-campus living or even remote living as well. So let's get into this. Oh wait, also Q&A. If you have any questions please drop them inside the Q&A section. So at the end, we'll go ahead and answer those. So we don't stop the flow of the presentation, but we will get to those. So let's get going. Today, we're going to talk about these topics: dorming, moving out, registering for classes, choosing major, campus engagement, balancing your life, your adjustment to college, and more resources that we can offer you from TLT, since we have lots of presentations to help you out here. First thing we're going to talk about is dorming and moving out. So in the last presentation, we talked about choosing your roommate, and we'll talk about boundaries, contracts, and caring for yourself. So really the nitty gritty whenever you're living on your own. Boundaries and living with other people. So if you're living at home or with a roommate, it's important to start setting these boundaries. And it also brings up the question, what are boundaries? And really they're just ways of protecting yourself, putting almost like a fence between yourself and anything, something, or like something another person does. You're not controlling what the other person is doing, but you're making a request. And if they don't follow that request, there will be an action you will take to protect yourself. So if someone is being really loud, you're going to make the request of, may you not play your music after 9 p.m. because I'm sleeping during that time. And if they still do that, that's whenever you take the action of doing what you can to block out that sound or go to your RA and make a complaint about it. You've already talked to them. And we're also gonna get more into dealing with conflicts with your roommates. And so, yeah, on the second point, some things to discuss is cleaning habits, having guests over, privacy, and how living or how you're willing to share items with other people, because not everybody wants to share items with each other. And really, when you're living with other people, it's also important to consider that this person doesn't live or come from the same home environment as you, and really start to learn how to see people and the way they live from their perspective, and just understand that they're not thinking in the same headspace as you necessarily. Contracts. So many universities will have roommate contracts that are issued by your RA, and you will fill them out with your roommate. Your RA will keep a copy of it so you guys can reference it if something comes up, if there's an issue. And if your university doesn't have one or your RA doesn't say anything about it, it would be good for you to go ahead and make one on your own, because it really does keep a set of guidelines that you both can refer to, like they're concrete, they're actually there, rather than having them implied, because whenever they're implied and not written down, they can get a little skewed and misinterpreted. There could be a lot of miscommunication. So it's really good to have them written down. So yeah, even if you know your roommate, maybe they're your friend or someone you met during orientation, it's important to go over these rules of living together to avoid conflicts. No matter if you've known them for a while, it's still important to consider each other and the way you live your own personal lives. And so caring for yourself, this is one that is most essential, especially during the semester, is learning how to balance your self-care while you're getting involved on campus and exploring yourself. So yeah, for many people, it's your first time you're doing your own laundry. And depending from your household, and TLT has a presentation that can help you out with that. It actually walks you through how to do your laundry. Like, that's really nice. Even if you think you know how to do your laundry, I think it would still be good to check it out to see if there's anything that you didn't know. And yeah, so when doing your laundry in the dorms, it's important to be respectful of others and move your clothes in a timely manner. This is most important. I would say, well, not in everything, but whenever you're dealing with laundry, is that just considering that there are other people who need to use the machine, and people will take your clothes out of personal experience if you don't take it out in time. So make sure that you are being considerate of that. And, people have things to do, places to go. So also don't necessarily take it personally. But yeah, so make sure that you're there on time, you're ready to get your clothes out, and yeah, just remember it's not your space only. So caring for yourself, many people may need to start shopping for themselves and even setting up their own doctors and dentist appointments. This may be their first time that you're going out to shop, and also making your own health appointments, really focusing on your own health. So you have a lot more free will here. Some people might still rely on their parents, and that's totally okay. It is good to start doing this as well, so you do get more of that independence. And so we have two presentations that can help you out here, walks you through. I know I definitely found them helpful to me. And yeah, it brought a lot of insight that I could use whenever I'm shopping and also setting up an appointment. And so there's also another presentation that I didn't put on here, which is holistic health. I think that would also be really good, especially for stress relief. There's also a stress relief one. We'll talk about that later. And just a lot of great information and resources that you have free access to on the TLT page. Alrighty, so talking about living at home, this is more of that remote learning, also being a commuter. So if you're a student who seeks to live at home and just drive to school, this pertains to you. If you're a person that wants to completely live at home whenever going to school, and this you'll see this more in community college students or students in vocational trade schools, since there are no dormitories where they're living or where the campus is at. So depending on your campus and classification, you may live at home. Some schools allow you to stay home if you live within a certain distance of the campus, and it is recommended to come to campus early so you can get good parking, stay on campus as much as you can for convenience. And so kind of just to brief that or explain more of that, depending on where you go to school, they will have a set of requirements of if you're allowed to live off campus or if they require you to stay there. Sometimes they want all freshmen to stay there, or they want ones that live too far away to stay there. And this is so they know that you're going to have the best convenient access to the resources on campus and you can still stay engaged in your studies. It's really hard to go from high school into that that college life, so it's really good to have campus resources really really close by to you. And so some schools allow you to stay at home. Yeah, so when I mentioned here, it is recommended to come to campus early so you get good parking and also stay on campus as much as you can. This is more for convenience. Depending on your school, you might have issues with parking. That's another thing. So it's good to come early, make sure that you do have a good parking spot with wherever your building is at, where you do most of your studies at, and just considering that into your schedule. So if you're not able to go on campus or anywhere else to do work, it is essential to create a space in your home where you can study and do work. And so this is more for people that are remote and they're staying at home. They don't have other options to go to. I really recommend to find some sort of space in your house where it's quiet, there are no distractions, or at least as much as you can get rid of distractions for your studies. And I also wanted to go over the roommate situation when it comes to living at home, because some people might be living with their parents. If you're able to in any way set any boundaries with them as well, or tell them, hey, I'm in a meeting right now, or I'm in a class right now, if you all can please be a little bit more quiet at this moment and just be able to communicate with them your needs. I think that like me being in COVID, I definitely had to learn that communicating with the people I was living with was essential. Okay, next topic is registering for classes. So after choosing your classes, you'll be required to meet with your advisor who will help you register for your classes. There is a designated advisor for each major. And this also goes for undeclared majors. And people who go for something like general studies, there will be someone that can help you out with that, an advisor that can help you with your studies and make sure that you're on track. And so meeting with your advisor, the first step in registering for classes is to meet with your advisor. You'll typically first meet with them during orientation, where you'll just go over basic guidelines of the major and the type of classes you'll take. And this is more of a brief meeting since they have so many students to meet with. At the same time, it's still helpful to become familiar with your advisor, since this is a person that you'll be referring to almost every year. It is recommended to do it every year to make sure that you're on track for graduation. At any point during the school year, you can set up an appointment with your advisor. So you can, if you're getting ready for registering for the spring, you can go ahead and start planning that in October. They have a lot of appointment dates available. It's recommended to not wait till the last minute, since they fill up very fast whenever you're meeting with your advisor. Also, to just go over what an advisor is, they're pretty much a person that is there to help guide you through graduation, or to guide you through your program to graduation, making sure that you have all the classes you need to graduate, the requirements are met. If you need to change a major, you can talk to them and they'll help you through that process. If you want to add a minor, you can also speak to them about that, and they'll get you connected with an advisor who works with you for your minor. And so registration deadlines, it's important to note the registration date. Classes fill up quickly. If you miss the last date to register for classes, you'll have to pay a late registration fee. And that's just what comes with it. Just make sure that you know when your classification's date is to register, or when you're able to register, so you can go ahead and start planning those classes. Or actually, it's recommended to meet with your advisor, plan out those classes, and then start registering for the classes you chose. So make sure you have all that planned out beforehand, and then go ahead and register. So then you can just click a few buttons, so you can make sure that you're in all those classes, since they fill up so quickly as well. I also wanted to mention, you will have a portal to register this. Your school will have a registration portal for you to use. This also goes with housing and food as well, or whenever you're getting a meal plan. There will be online portals to help you through this process. Oh yeah, also mentioning down here, your school's calendar or website should have all the dates for registration listed. And you can really look at that on their website, just looking up registration deadlines and then your university name, and a web page should pull up. Also wanted to mention about classifications. To clarify, you can go by the title of a freshman or first year or first time in college. It depends what the college refers to you. Pretty much your first year going to college, a sophomore, junior, senior. And then there are other titles for graduate school. So just briefing off of that. So choosing a major. The major you choose will determine your studies. You may also choose a minor alongside your major. And I put an S right here because you can choose multiple minors depending on your program too. So when choosing a major, it's okay to change it. You may find something you're more passionate about. The program you had before might have been something that you didn't expect and you want to change it, or you realize it's not a good fit for you. And here's a statistic. So according to the National Center of Education Statistics, about 80% of college students change their major at least once. I know personally I have, so it happens and it's fine. As long as you're going for a program that you feel would be good for your career and what you're looking forward to doing after college. So to change your major, you typically have to meet with an academic advisor to declare your new major. They will help you fill out the paperwork and create a degree plan for graduation. And they will help you through the process for changing your major. Also consider that you might have a different advisor to refer to depending on your school and what they or how they go about that. All right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Campus engagement. Getting involved on campus can help you meet new people and get to know the campus more. Okay, volunteering. Many universities have different ways to volunteer, including clubs and organizations that are dedicated to volunteer work. Many universities will also have major volunteering events throughout the year that you can participate in, even if you're not involved in a club or organization. Joining clubs and organizations. There are hundreds of clubs and organizations on any given campus that support a large range of activities and topics. Joining a club or organization is a great way to find others who hold a similar interest as you. Many universities will have a welcome week where clubs and organizations will have booths and pass out flyers trying to get new members. Many universities even have advisors that you can meet with that will help you find clubs and organizations to meet your interests. Like for me personally, I found most of my friends by joining clubs and different organizations on campus. Okay, so we're going to go over some campus terminology. The registrar's office, they manage registering for classes and student academic records. The bursar's office is in charge of where student money goes and charging for fees. Advisor, school official that guides you through your academic major until graduation. Financial aid office helps students finance their education, scholarships, Pell Grant, loans, those types of things. Admission office manages student documentation like your transcript and your application. Housing office in charge of student housing facility. Associate's degree is a 2-year degree. A bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree. Undergraduate, a student seeking a degree below a master's. First generation student is a student who is in the family's first generation to attend college. Classification, first time in college, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, those types of classifications. And prerequisites are required classes that must be taken before entering a program or a course. Balancing your life, school and work, and your social life can become overwhelming. It's helpful to start building time management skills now for your future self's sake. Balancing your life. Work in college is a lot different than in high school, as you don't typically meet with the same classes every day, and your professors aren't going to remind you the same way about homework and classwork that your high school teachers might have. It can get tricky when balancing multiple responsibilities, but it's important to create a balance without over-exhausting yourself. Some ways to manage your time is to keep a calendar to keep track of important dates. I use a physical planner, but some people like to have all their work in their digital calendar so they could just look on their phone and have reminders. Set up a consistent schedule to do work and schedule free time for yourself. It's important to always make sure you have time to decompress from all your work and things where you're not focusing on that. TLT also offers an organization and time management lesson that you can find on our website. Adjustment to college. It's a time of change and it can be uncomfortable and take a while to adjust, and that's okay. Homesickness. Starting college is a big transition, and for a lot of people, it's the first time they've ever been away from home. Getting homesick is okay, and there's a lot of different ways to cope with homesickness. One way is by building a support circle. Keeping up with your parents and friends from home by talking regularly can help keep your ties strong. It's important to also find new friends so you have immediate people to connect with. Find new interests or connect with your current ones, as keeping busy can help you from feeling homesick. I know for me, I was homesick my first semester a lot, but once I started getting involved in campus and hanging out with friends, I didn't notice it as much and I felt a lot better. Learning the ins and outs. Learning how college works, how you should interact with students and professors, and learning university protocols and rules will help you adjust to the new environment. Stress can be difficult, and learning how to navigate will help you adjust to that. Many universities have psychological services that can help you with that as well. TLT has a presentation for managing stress, as well as how to write a professional email, as it's important to stay as professional as possible when emailing your professors. Some more resources. TLT also has a presentation surrounding the benefits of community college. We recommend it to those that are considering going to a community college. Thanks for attending, and remember to visit TLT for more resources.
Yes, thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and go into the Q&A section. And I'm gonna have Carly read the questions and I'll go ahead and answer them. And first, before we start that, here's our contact page. So if you would like to get to know more about TLT, you can email over here or even call. So yeah, thank you for your time, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the Q&A section.
Okay, the first question, are you ready?
Mhm.
The first question is, what exactly is an RA?
Gotcha. Okay. So an RA is an individual hired by the university's housing office or another housing entity to be a facilitator of a floor, building, or a wing, depending on the dormitory or apartment complex. They also can be in apartments. They often create community building activities and are there to help answer questions and follow building procedures. They often enforce, no, they will, and they're required to enforce rules and regulations. So they're really there to overlook or make sure that everybody is behaving as they should, following what's in the handbook. They're also there to, especially freshmen, help guide them and answer any questions, especially about living on campus. And there will be other resources on campus and other mentorships that can help you out with that. And so, yeah, they're really there for you and there to support you, especially with roommate conflicts and stuff. So what is the next question?
Why change your major if it will cost you more for school?
This has definitely been that had definitely been in my mind whenever I was changing my major. Is it worth it? Should I just continue on my path? But it's really how you weigh it, how you feel is important. Is it your finances, or really making sure that you have the requirements for the future field that you would want to go into? I will say, like, it's important to consider the field that you are looking to go into after college and making sure that your studies follow that. And most of the time you will need like a bachelor's degree in that field that you're looking forward to. So it really is like, whenever you're changing your major, considering I'm going to need this for so many years after college, or I'm going to need this to get into a different field. I don't want to do what I was originally doing. And really just speaking to what you feel is right. I know that's really hard. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what is right, but really understanding and really seeing using or weighing the pros and cons of changing your major. I personally recommend changing it if you are not comfortable with your current major, because that's going to be something your certification and diploma that you'll have forever. So I personally think it's worth it, but that is ultimately up to you. It is ultimately up to you and your decision. I know money can be a concern. I definitely recommend looking into scholarships or any sort of funding to help you out. And yeah, that is a huge concern, definitely, with the money. So what is the next question?
How does food on campus work?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier where you will have a portal that you can sign up for housing. Oftentimes, food plans also go into that as well, depending on your school. Definitely pay attention during orientation because they will really go into this. And so on campus, there are dining halls, chain restaurants, convenience stores, and depending on your campus, there will be different kinds of chain restaurants and convenience stores there. And sometimes they won't have a convenience store. So you have many options on campus, and usually they give you some sort of set amount of meals you can have depending on the meal plan you choose. They oftentimes have many meal plans you can choose from, and they also give you campus credit in a way where you can use it at places that are other than the dining hall. So meal plans are usually used in dining halls, and then any sort of credit is used in different places. And this of course varies from campus to campus. Dining works in different ways. For example, at TW, they call this campus credit dining dollars, and at UNT they call it flex. So it's a lot of free will from the university itself and their culture. So yes, what is the next question, Carly?
Who do I go to if I don't like my roommate or if I have a problem with them?
Okay, so I would recommend you go to your roommate. If you're not exactly comfortable with that, it is good to talk to your RA about what you could do before you actually take action on like trying to necessarily report. Unless they did do something really bad, it would be good to go to your RA, but ultimately you have your RA there to help you and guide you through any conflicts you have with your roommate. And let me think. Yeah, so you can set up a meeting with them and talk to them about your situation. And the RA on their part, they have their own process that they have to go through before some room change or anything like maybe discipline ends up occurring. So it's also important to be patient with them and that process. And I know it can be tough, like having a roommate that doesn't respect you. And so just know that your RA is there for you. And there are other RAs also around the building as well that could help you out as well. So what is the next question?
When will we have to make a contract for the dorms?
Okay. Usually your RA would bring this up before the semester starts, but it can really go into the first month of living with that person until the contract really needs to be established. I really recommend having it established before the semester starts, because the first semester gets so hectic and so busy that whenever you come home, you just want to wind down. And if you have someone that's not really complying with you or doing something that they didn't know would hurt you or bother you, that can get really stressful and messy as well. So making sure that you have this contract established beforehand, because not everybody can understand or see where you're coming from with the way that you live. Everybody lives differently, so it's important to have this concrete document of your, in a way, your boundaries, both of yours, and also something your RA can refer to. So what is the next question?
Is there a time limit for me to find a roommate? What if I don't choose one?
So okay, there's not exactly a time limit necessarily. It's almost implied because the rooms fill up very quickly. So it's important to find a roommate if you want one and you have one in mind, and have you and them choose your housing. And this is before the semester starts. So then you both have these places reserved. If it's just you and you don't have a roommate, you didn't think about anybody to choose, or you don't have anybody to choose, and you've already chosen your spot in your dorm, and this is assuming if you're dorming in a double, and this is if it's pretty much just two people living in one space, and you already reserved your spot, there's one open spot, and that is pretty much free reign for whoever needs a room. And so they have the free will to go ahead and choose that spot, and then you will be defaulted to that person. You will have them as your roommate, and will be living with them. So that's kind of what I mean by there's not really a time limit, but there is this urgency to get a roommate, or make sure that you and your roommate have a spot and you're able to live with each other without having like maybe someone that you didn't really expect to have there. So making sure that that's all planned out beforehand is very important. And that's why it's really important to just, oh, I already said that. Yeah, pretty much just plan out early. So what is the next question?
If I am living at home, how do I still get the typical college experience?
Okay. So you have options to find clubs in different organizations, and there are many of them that work remote as well. Like they can go ahead and like Zoom call you in, or you can get involved with their online community. I know at my campus, we have like a club that's very focused on video games, and so they have like a Discord that they can connect through. Sometimes they have or like other clubs have group chats, or they email you for a meeting, and this will help you go ahead and make friends and find a community to connect with. Adding on to clubs and organizations, I also think like doing any sort of research team, and or getting involved with a sorority or fraternity or anything like that. Just a community of people that you can meet with and get to know, so you can start creating this community even though you live afar. And so what's the next question?
What is the difference between the bursar and the registrar's office?
Okay. Yeah, this one I got a lot of questions from, like even working on campus. And so, and yeah, this one confuses people still, even with financial aid. So the bursar is really the person that issues fees and makes sure that the money goes where it needs to go. They're really just like the, I would say, hmm, like the director, in a way, like they direct where the money needs to be. Um, Whenever you're dealing with financial aid and scholarships and making sure that you have some sort of aid to help you. This also goes with loans or any like family plus loans. This that will be dealt with by the financial aid office. The bursar is really just making sure that you have your fees paid, and yeah, what you said you would pay is actually going to that. Um, there might be more into that, and that definitely you can do more research on that as well. And so going into the registrar's office is really in charge of keeping your academic records, making sure that you're on track for graduation. They really keep gauge of your grades and everything, and making sure that you're heading towards completion for graduation. And so your advisor will be working in the system with the registrar's information. They're really like the bookkeeper of all your academic records. You can refer to them whenever you need to cancel a class or you want to withdraw from the university. And just communicating with them about that, as well as like any fees that might come from that. And yeah, they're really into more of the class side of things and registering for courses. Alrighty, what is the next question?
How do I know who my advisor is?
Yeah, so they'll usually tell you during orientation. During orientation, a good amount of people already established their major, even if this is undeclared, and you'll have someone to speak to, and this person will be your advisor. However, if you didn't get to know your advisor during that time, you can go ahead and check on your school's website, and they should have information of who that is. Looking up your university advisor or advising, you can go on their advising page, and they should have a list, a rundown of each major and the email of your advisor. If you don't have that information, if you can call some sort of information desk at the school, they should be able to help direct you to who that will be, or who you need to talk to find your advisor. Alrighty, what is the next question?
How often should I meet with my advisor?
Yes, so you should meet with your advisor at least once a semester to make sure you're staying on track to graduate and plan out your classes for the upcoming semester. You can also make an appointment anytime you have, you can meet with them anytime you have like questions, or you need to speak with an advisor to just help you through and plan out your future. And they can really help. Something we didn't mention was like study abroad, but that's really like going into whenever you're in college. You can also speak with them about things like that as well. Or if you want to change your major, add a minor. And yeah, just planning around that and making sure that you're on track for graduation. I also do want to say, do not feel forced to graduate in 4 years. I know that's like a huge expectation that's often put onto college students, but please do not fret about that. If you do feel like you need to, go ahead, but do not rush. Alrighty, so what is the next question?
Our last question is, how do I balance having a job, taking classes, and having a social life?
Okay. Oh, wow. This is something we're all trying to figure out. It will take some time, but it's important to learn how to manage your time well and know your own limits, so you don't overwork yourself. Talk with your job and your classes, or talk with your job, like your employer, to kind of work around your classes and your class schedule, since you are a student, and many jobs do prioritize you being a student. If they don't, that will be a concern. So yeah, make sure you're not scheduled at the same time as classes, and it's important to balance all aspects of your schedule. It will require trial and error, depending on who you are and how well you are at managing this, but you will find what works for you in this process. It is, how do I say this? So I guess don't stress to have it completely right, but do your very best. Take it a day at a time to make sure that you are meeting your needs. Definitely not overfilling your plate with too many activities. I will say what I've learned in college is that it's not the same thing as high school. Me personally, I was involved in a lot of things in high school, but in college it is a lot heavier. Your course load is a lot heavier. You're more involved in your studies, and so not to put too much on your plate. I don't recommend going into 5 clubs, no matter how much you want to. I mean, it would be good for exploration if you want to do that and like just dip your toes into each one of them, but don't give too much of yourself to each of those. I guess pretty much what I'm trying to say is don't spread yourself too thin. And definitely take it a day at a time. So yeah. All right. Is that all?
Yeah, that was the last question.
Okay, gotcha. Well, just to wait a few seconds, are there any more questions? Okay. I think we can go ahead and wrap up. All righty. Well, thank you so much for coming. If you were here for the first one, thank you so much as well. Thank you for everyone just being here in general. And here is the contact information for TLT. Once again, you can screenshot that if you want. And also over here, the TLT resources webpage. And Carly also had a document that ran down the different web pages for each of different colleges around Texas, more of the North Texas area. And so, yeah, we have those resources for you, and thank you for attending. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.